Hey, thanks for checking out the Next Level Radio YouTube page. If you like what you hear, head to nextlevelradioonline.com. Find other podcasts and interviews that aren't included on the YouTube page, including guests such as Chris Parnell from SNL and Archer, Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway, Kim Coates from Sons of Anarchy, even Chris Allen from American Idol, and much more. You can also download our podcasts on iTunes and Stitcher or stream them straight from our website at nextlevelradioonline.com. Also on the webpage, you'll find links to our Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you follow us to keep updated on everything we have going on and everything we have coming up. nextlevelradioonline.com also gives you coverage of events such as Philadelphia Comic-Con, and you can even check out our staff blog that includes movie reviews and much more. Again, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and head over to nextlevelradioonline.com for much more. Thanks for listening.
Hey there, this is Jimmy Simpson.
Hi, this is Claire Coffey.
Hey, it's Rick Hoffman from Suits.
Hey, this is Lucky Yates.
Next Level News.
Cards Against Humanity brings the raunch to the web in an unofficial app. The time has come to commence Operation Lady Gaga, or the time has come to commence Operation Jerking Off into a Pool of Children's Tears.
Damn it.
The Showcast Weekly Update.
Scorsese can now be added to the list of celebrities with animal lookalikes, joining Wilford Brimley, who looks like Surly Cat, and Sarah Jessica Parker, who looks like every horse in America.
Hey guys, this is Amber Nurse.
Hey, what's up? This is Thomas Decker.
Hey, I'm Chris Parnell.
Hey everybody, it's Greg Proops, the smartest man in the world, and you're grooving to Next Level Radio. Get it?
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Showcast, episode 19 here on Next Level Radio. I am Ben Beck, joined by Adam Gorey.
All right.
And apparently Matthew McConaughey. No Steve Richards this week, unfortunately.
We had a special guest co-host last week, so Matthew McConaughey is this week.
How awesome would that be to have Matthew McConaughey special host a podcast with us?
You know, I was doing podcasts before doing podcasts was cool.
I was doing
before
my
they paid me to do it.
While driving my Lincoln.
How long have I been rolling this boogie?
Steve gave us the excuse that he's got wedding stuff going on today, but
is that what it was?
I was thinking about it. I think it's basically because the Mad Men series finale is on tonight.
That could be.
And he just didn't want to take the risk of the podcast recording running over into finale time.
Or he's crying and doesn't want to embarrass himself emotionally.
Maybe he's having a Mad Men finale party.
Maybe. I wasn't invited.
Me neither, but we don't watch it.
I'd still like to be there.
So.
Yeah. Talked to Chris Palaha last week. He was in a few episodes of Mad Men.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
4, I think.
Oh, okay.
And next week, I might as well get this out of the way now, since we're talking about AMC at least. We'll have Bern Gorman on from AMC's Turn, Washington Spies.
And I wasn't sure who he was, but when I went back and I looked, he's been in a ton of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So, and a lot of stuff people know.
Including Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Our first Game of Thrones cast member on the show, or on the podcast.
Hopefully first of many.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, he's you might not recognize the name, but when you Google it and you see his face, you definitely recognize the face. And then you look at his IMDb page and it all makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I when I looked at his IMDb page and saw a bunch of the stuff that he was in, I immediately recognized him just by looking at his face.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises.
Yep.
Pacific Rim, which was a lot better than I thought it was going to be when I first watched it.
I really enjoyed it, actually.
And I think that was the effect it had on a lot of people, because I think on Rotten Tomatoes it's somewhere in the 70s or 80s, and you know, it looks like just a simple popcorn flick, you know, just all CGI and stuff like that, but it actually was really entertaining.
Yeah. There's two things in that on his IMDb that I'm looking forward to discussing with him. One of them is Torchwood, which is
John Barrowman was in that, wasn't he?
Well, John Barrowman was in that with him, but it's also a Doctor Who spinoff.
Oh, is it really?
And hopefully he can put in a good word with Barrowman for us.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And the other one is actually Johnny English Reborn, which was a sequel to Johnny English with Rowan Atkinson. And
Unfamiliar.
I love that movie.
Oh, Johnny English with the guy who played Mr. Bean.
Yes, Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's been in a ton of stuff, so we'll get to speak with him as part of the podcast for next week. In line with the podcast for this week, Steve and I had an opportunity to speak with Jake Robinson earlier this week from NBC's American Odyssey.
No, that's actually coming up in just a little bit. Steve's only coming in for the interview, and then he's leaving.
I think it's safe to play it as if we talked to them earlier in the week.
Yeah, sometimes you kind of have to. Like last week with Christopher Palaha and Backstrom being canceled, and when we talked to him, he wasn't sure yet.
Yeah, exactly. So we say, coming up in the interview, coming up in the podcast, we have the interview.
9 out of 10 times, or 9.5 out of 10 times, it's
already recorded.
Yeah,
it's already in the books. So, but moving on with this week, not exactly sure what we're going to be talking about yet this week. We'll just kind of play it by ear as we go along. Doesn't mean don't stick around because it's always interesting, especially now that we're back to the core of me and you for this podcast. Not that Steve's not that Steve's a bad part of this, but you did say in a message between all three of us that, you'd replace him every week if you could.
Every week, yeah.
So,
depends who it would be, but
if it's with people like Lucky Yates, man.
Yeah, I would replace him with Natalie Portman.
Oh, I would replace him with Natalie Portman, too.
I would replace you with Natalie Portman.
I'm sure you would. You know who I would replace you with?
Anybody?
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, I'd replace a lot of people with Anna Kendrick.
So, with Pitch Perfect 2 coming out this week. But on that note, let's move forward and let's hit the box office for the week.
She's locking away in dictates.
How'd the box office look this week?
So, last week you weren't here for it, but Steve and I had predicted that Pitch Perfect would beat out Mad Max, but we both said that Avengers would keep the top spot. Want to find out if we're right? Stay tuned. Number 5. Somehow. I thought this would get kicked out. Somehow Furious 7 got kicked out, and Age of Adeline got kicked out. But Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 is still number 5 with another 3.6 million.
It's that Segway power.
62.9 in 5 weeks. Dropping back from 2 to 4 is Hot Pursuit. I think it made like 13 million last weekend. It made 5.7 this weekend. That has a 2-week total of 23.5. Age of Ultron is number 3. Got kicked out of the top spot. Still made in its third week 38.8 million. So that's still respectable for 3 weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
The 3-week total gross, 372 million. Andrea still hasn't seen it, so I still have to go take her to see it. So
then it's going to make a little more money.
Yeah, about 40 more bucks because I kind of want to see it in IMAX. So.
Dude, do it. That's how I saw it.
Yeah, I want to. So have you seen the results? Or do you want to take a guess?
I know who took the top spot.
Okay. Well, then that kind of spoils things.
Yeah, it was posted. I got emails all about it, so it was kind of hard to avoid.
Okay. Well, number 2. Steve and I were kind of right. Mad Max Fury Road. Opening at number 2 with $44.4 million. Still good. Still a good opening week.
It's a really good opening
Perfect
week.
2 made $70.3 million. And you know what's funny is that last week, Steve and I talked about the first one because it was kind of like a cult classic. I mean, it's 100% a cult classic. It's not kind of.
Yeah.
It only made, in like its whole run at the box office, it made 65. And I jokingly said, I'm like, it might make that this week. And Steve's like, that's a lot to make. And I was like, yeah, maybe a couple weeks. Nope. It made it in the opening weekend.
Well, I mean, the first one got a lot of its notoriety from DVD and Netflix.
Yeah.
It was kind of a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
And
Isn't that kind of what a cult classic is?
But I actually went back and rewatched the first one again this weekend because it's a good movie.
I still haven't seen it all the way through.
I'm not going to lie. It's actually a really good movie.
It is entertaining.
Yeah.
Go get yourself pitch slapped. Rotten Tomatoes for those. Do you know, or do you want to take a guess?
The Rotten Tomatoes, I don't know. I would say I've seen mixed reviews on it. I've seen some people say it's really good. I've seen others say it's not as good as the first. I'd say maybe around a 75.
Close. 69 from the audience.
Okay.
69 from the critics, 79 from the audience. So that kind of averages out to 75.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. Any guess for Mad Max?
Oh my God, 97.
98, certified fresh. 92 from the audience.
I've heard nothing but good things about it.
People are loving that. Honorable mention to Where Hope Grows. It was only in 276 theaters, like we mentioned. It was limited. Made 490,000. So, nextlevelradioonline.com.
It's a good take for an indie.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm trying to see if it has a rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
What was the record they were trying to go for with that one?
I don't know what the actual number was. He just said if 190,000 people go see it.
Okay.
I don't know the math to see if that works out.
Gotcha.
Only has a 44% from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. 83 from the audience, though. So the audience likes it.
I think that's more important sometimes.
Yeah, critics are just being douchebags. So, let's go to, which is funny because we're kind of critics, but yeah, whatever. Let's go to what's coming out this coming week, which, let me look at the date, is 5/22. Yeah, May 22nd. I didn't realize this was already coming out. Tomorrowland, with George Clooney, Britt Robertson, Hugh Laurie. Do you want me to go into the synopsis about it? I think everyone's kind of seen trailers.
I know what it
on
is,
this
but
at
if you
this
want
point.
to for the listeners, that's fine.
It's about a theme park.
I don't really think that's what it's about, is it?
No.
Bound.
It's, yeah, but I mean, Tomorrowland is a theme park in Disney. Did you not know that?
No, I do know that.
Oh, okay.
I've been there.
Oh, well then, you should know that. Bound by a shared destiny, a teen bursting with scientific curiosity and a former boy genius inventor embark on a mission to unearth the secrets of a place somewhere in time and space that exists in their collective memory. Judging from the trailers real quick, kind of a stupid looking premise, but I'm still interested to see it.
I want to see it.
Yeah. That one is opening up in 3,800 theaters.
We actually have an opportunity for a screening this coming Monday, but unfortunately we have something else planned that night, so I can't go.
I'd rather be doing the thing we have planned.
Me too.
So
me too.
Next up, Poltergeist, the remake of the horror film. When was the original? Do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, 82 maybe. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Is that your official guess?
Yeah, I'm going to say 82.
As you look it up?
No, I'm not looking it up, I swear.
Well, that's a good guess. 1982 is correct.
Nice. Don't forget, I'm a horror fan, so it's...
Yeah,
you know.
That is true.
And I actually am going to a screening of this one later on in the week, and I cannot wait. I think it actually looks really good.
Yeah, it does look... I didn't see the first one. I'm not a big horror person, and there was a clown in the trailer, so needless to say, I'm staying out of this one. But it's about a family whose suburban home is haunted by evil forces, and they must come together to rescue their youngest daughter after the apparitions take her captive. Does she get sucked into the TV? Kind of, in a way. The TV's like a portal, right?
Yeah, sort of. It's actually the closet is the portal.
Oh, she has to come out of the closet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's, you know.
Well, that's opening nationwide.
Okay. I think it's going to do well.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see if either of these have Rotten Tomatoes real quick before we go on. Only Tomorrowland 64 right now is like a little pre-rating. Nothing for Poltergeist yet. Limited opening is When Marnie Was There, which is an animated drama. I believe this is an anime film. And then also you have Aloft, which is a limited release with Jennifer Connelly, Cillian Murphy. That's a drama about a struggling mother who encounters the son she abandoned 20 years earlier. I thought it was a sequel to the film earlier, Loft, with, what the hell's her name? Who was in that? Loft? Or was that called The Loft?
I think it was The Loft.
It kind of
and
bombed.
That was the one that had like Eric Stone Street.
Yeah, totally bombed.
Yeah.
So that was The Loft. This is A Loft. It's kind of different.
Is it a loft as in like a singular loft, or is it a loft as in like a loft like flight?
No, yeah, the second one.
Okay.
Not a space loft. It's a loft. One word.
Gotcha.
Not aloof either. That's also different. Coming out, the film of the century, Chocolate City. I wish Steve was here.
God.
This is right up his alley. Top 5, obviously, for this film. Life for... we already read this when we did Trailer Trash. I'm just going to keep moving. The Farewell Party.
A.K.A. Tyler Perry's Magic Mike.
Yes. Farewell Party, which is a dramedy. Sunshine Superman, which is a documentary. Not about Superman. So
no, it's, hold on.
A base jumping guy.
Okay, then never mind.
What'd you think it was about?
I thought there was a song that actually used the lyric Sunshine Superman, so I thought maybe it was about that band. I was trying to figure out the artist that used that lyric.
Well, you don't need to, because it's not about that.
Okay, there you go.
It's about it's a heart racing documentary. Portrait of Carl Bonish, the father of base jumping movement, whose early passion for skydiving led him to ever more spectacular and dangerous feats of foot-launched human flight. Has nothing to do with Sunshine or Superman.
Okay.
So, that is it, though. So I will let you, we'll try this again. Ben, you have the reins.
Yeah, don't say that, because the last time you said that, it screwed up all the audio. And yeah, for all the listeners out there, it was a great show last week with Lucky, but it was a painstaking pain in the ass to edit, because there were a lot of issues editing-wise. You guys would never know when you listen, but we know when we go back and listen to it.
We know.
Because it took me until about 2 o'clock in the morning to get it edited. But anyway, moving on to my end with the DVD and Blu-ray releases for the week. Starting off first with Strange Magic, an animated movie featuring Alan Cumming and Evan Rachel Wood. Goblins, elves, fairies, and imps, and their misadventures sparked by the battle over a powerful potion. About 12.3 million at the box office, 18% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics, 51% from the audience. Buy Netflix or pass. I'm going to give this one a pass.
Yeah, this is the first main big animated film that this director has done. It didn't look very entertaining, so I'm going to say pass.
So, I mean, it's got a decent cast. Like I said, Alan Cumming, Evan Rachel Wood, Kristen Chenoweth, Alfred Molina, Maya Rudolph, Tony Cox. So, I think this is a DreamWorks film. I could be wrong. I'm actually looking. Yeah, I don't see.
Can't tell.
I can't tell either. But DreamWorks is not doing well with their animated movies lately. They score hits with How to Train Your Dragon, and then everything else just kind of isn't measuring up. So they've been taking a hit lately. So
yeah, it's a pass for me.
Yeah, it's a pass for me too. Moving on to Hot Tub Time Machine 2, starring Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, and Clark Duke. 12.3 million at the box office, same as Strange Magic. 14%.
That's terrible.
Yeah, 14% on Rotten Tomatoes, 32% from the audience. When Lou finds himself in trouble, Nick and Jacob fire up the hot tub time machine in an attempt to get back to the past, but they inadvertently land in the future with Adam Jr. Now they have to alter the future in order to save the past, which is really the present. And is really
Speaking of past, that's what I'm doing.
I was going to say, I wish I could go back to the past before I read that description. Yeah, buy Netflix or pass. I love the first one. I think it's great. This one, I saw, not so much. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's a pass.
By the way, Strange Magic, not DreamWorks. It's actually Lucasfilm.
Oh, okay.
Which is definitely a pass.
So. And lastly, for the DVD and Blu-ray releases, finally, I don't know what took this one so long, but American Sniper, coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, $349.3 million at the box office, which is huge for
That's
a
incredible.
Drama.
Yeah.
For a drama, that is huge. Directed by Clint Eastwood and starring Bradley Cooper, Sienna Miller, and a fake baby.
So fake.
Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle's pinpoint accuracy saves countless lives on the battlefield and turns him into a legend. Back home to his wife and kids after 4 tours of duty, however, Chris finds that it is the war that he cannot leave behind. It's a fantastic movie. Buy, rent, or pass. Buy Netflix or pass. It's already pre-ordered on Amazon for me, so it's a buy.
Yeah, it's a buy. It's so good. And I mean, if you want to hear our review of it, we talked about it back when we did our Oscar picks. I don't know exactly which episode it was on.
I think it's in the description. So
Yeah,
if you
it
just go
is.
back and read the description of some past podcasts, you'll find
Probably
our
yeah,
discussion on it.
probably one of the first 4. So, or if you go to our page, nextlevelradioonline.com, go to Showcast, and then look at the first 10 episodes. It'll be in the description.
Yeah, I think we put in the description what movies we talked about.
Yeah, we did.
So
I did.
it'll be in there. But yeah, fantastic movie. It is an absolute buy. Like I said, actually, I should be getting it on Tuesday because I pre-ordered on Amazon. Amazon's great about that. If you pre-order it, they send it out so that you get it on the day of.
Speaking of pre-ordering, are you going to pre-order Black Ops 3?
I haven't even seen a trailer for it yet.
Call of Duty Black Ops 3? Oh yeah. Look it up.
Well, it depends because it depends on my schedule. I'm going to get it either way.
You might do the...
Yeah, the past couple years, with the exception of last year, the last 5 years before that, ever since Call of Duty Modern Warfare, I'll DJ a midnight opening for a GameStop, and my payment is they give me the game. So if I can fit it into my schedule this year to do it, I definitely will. The only trouble is I do it for a friend of mine who's the manager, and he moves stores all the time. And the store that he's at now is like an hour and a half away. So, and I have to work in the morning. So unless I take off the next day, it doesn't make much sense because, a midnight release doesn't wrap up until 1. I don't get my game until 1. I don't leave until 1, so I'm not home until like 2:30.
And then you get home and play it all night. So
if I take off, yes. So if not, I'll probably pre-order it. So, but that's going to wrap it up for the box office for the week. So we're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we are going to hit the next level news. We'll talk about. Actually, I think we're going to recap some of my time at Comic-Con since we didn't get a chance to do that last week.
Yep.
And we'll have our interview with Jake Robinson coming up a little bit later on as well. And so stick around. We'll be back.
Hey, this is comedian Craig Shoemaker, the Love Master, baby, and you're listening to Next Level Radio. I took it to the next level. Oh, yeah.
Everything is awesome.
That is, thank you for that. I'm now going to have that stuck in my head for the remainder of the night.
Just trying to lift up your mood, I guess. I don't know.
I'm going to have to go back and, I'm going to have to go watch Pitch Perfect again.
Not that your mood was down, but...
No, I've actually been in a good mood this weekend.
Now it's even higher.
Yeah.
Because everything is awesome, Ben.
Well, when you're part of a team...
Yes.
That's the next lyric in the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it. I've seen the movie.
I have too, numerous times. So, let's move things forward and let's hit the next level news for the week.
This is Next Level News.
All right. I hate starting off with sad news, but I like doing it first, and this way we can lighten things up. But I was very saddened by this. Blues legend B.B. King dies at age 89. He's definitely been sick for a while, but singer-guitarist B.B. King, the king of the blues, who helped define his genre's electrified post-war sound and became the music's best-known international ambassador, has died. He was 89 years old. Died in Las Vegas. He announced on May 1st that he had entered hospice care after being in poor health for some time. So this is very sad to me because I'm a big jazz and blues person. And I'm very bummed because I actually had an opportunity to go up to Jim Thorpe and see him perform last year, and I didn't take it because I thought I might have actually had another opportunity, and I was wrong. So,
yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah, it sucks.
But at least at least you got to experience it once, right?
No, never seen it.
Oh, wait, I thought you said Jim Thorpe.
Yeah, that's where he played last year.
Oh, I thought you said you went. And
no,
then there was another one that you weren't going to go to. Okay.
No, I didn't go because I thought there would be another one.
Yeah. Oh, well, shame on you then.
Unfortunately, I was wrong. So, CSI to wrap its 15th season run in September with a 2-hour finale. CBS is saying goodbye to the show that turned the network's fortunes around some 15 years ago. CSI Crime Scene Investigation will wrap its 15-season run in September with a 2-hour finale that will reunite original stars William Peterson and Mark Helgenberger. The finale will air September 27th and feature other returning cast members who have been on the forensic procedural over its run. Ted Danson, the current CSI star, will relocate to the latest spin-off CSI Cyber, opposite Patricia Arquette.
Wow.
Which means I might actually have to start watching CSI Cyber again.
And the Beak.
Yeah. You know what? It's not bad. I just didn't think the ratings were going to be that good, so I kind of stopped watching it in anticipation that it was going to get canceled. But CBS picked it up, so I'm going to have to get caught up with some episodes of CSI Cyber. And it's cool that they're relocating Ted Danson over to that, too. So, but it'll be cool to see William Peterson. He is now. They've gone through a number of different bosses.
No, that was a Who's the Boss reference.
I didn't get it.
But you said Ted Danson, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm thinking Tony Danza.
There you go. So your reference was wrong.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to see William Peterson and Mark Helgenberger back. It's like I had mentioned last week. I think it was last week with Lucky. Or maybe it wasn't with Lucky. I can't remember who we were talking to, but I had mentioned how I binge-watched all the CSIs when they were on Spike. I know that wasn't Lucky.
Who were we talking
who that
to?
was. Who the hell
I think it was
TJ.
TJ.
Was it TJ Thine?
Yeah.
That we talked about? Yeah,
it was TJ Thine, because he was mentioned, because he was on a couple of those.
That's right. He had talked about the binge-watching things and things like that. Right. But yeah, I've not missed an episode of CSI, and I will watch that finale in September when it comes on. Moving on to other television news as well. Harry Shearer leaving The Simpsons. The Simpsons has lost one of its most recognizable voices. Harry Shearer, who voiced Mr. Burns, Ned Flanders, Principal Skinner, as well as a number of others, is leaving Fox's animated series after 26 seasons.
I hope they have a plan.
I think it's because of contract negotiations, and I think Fox is working to try and work it out so that they can get him back. But it'll be interesting to see what they do if they don't. I mean, if he doesn't come back.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can find some other voice talents that can do the voices.
I was going to say, there's got to be somebody who's close. Because I don't think you can kill off those characters.
Yeah.
I mean, they killed off Ned Flanders' wife, right? She's dead.
Yes. Yeah. I can't see them killing off Flanders or Principal Skinner. Mr. Burns, possibly.
I still remember the whole Who Shot Mr. Burns? Oh my god, that was some of the best cartoon television.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, it was Maggie.
It was Maggie.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Simpson exec producers Matt Groening, Al Jean, and Brooks confirmed the news, releasing a statement that read, Harry Shearer was offered the same deal the rest of the cast accepted and passed. The show will go on, and we wish him well. Maggie took it hard.
That sounded like some bitterness.
Yeah, a little bit.
Everybody took the deal except this son of a bitch.
I saved this story just for you, Adam. A John Wick sequel is officially in the works.
I heard about this.
Just when you think the human race has run its course and all hope is lost, you find out that there's going to be a sequel to John Wick. And suddenly the sun is shining.
Do you realize that this is a big problem?
And suddenly the sun is shining and there's a sense that we're going to make it after all.
I'm back.
John Wick caught everyone by surprise. The horror R-rated action movie from unknown creator starring Keanu Reeves. It's not exactly the kind of movie you'd expect to be a critical darling, but John Wick was just that. And Adam will never watch it just because of the fact that it's Keanu Reeves.
My one friend loves it.
I've heard it is really, really good.
He's come up to my house a couple times, and every time he brings it, he's like, if you want, I brought John Wick, and then I always find something else for us to do.
That your friend is brilliant.
Oh shit!
But I mean, I
have to watch it at some point.
I heard it's actually a really good movie. I think, if I remember correctly, the plot revolves around somebody killing his dog.
That can't be real.
That can't be real either. I know. But I mean,
I've heard my dog.
It's got an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's got to be good. I'm trying to look up to see what the actual plot is.
What the synopsis is?
Yeah, I really hope it's not. That it's. Oh no! An ex hitman comes out of retirement to track down the gangsters that took everything from him.
You're close.
That could mean his dog. Maybe his dog is one of the things that was killed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you read the wrong synopsis. I think it's I think I found the synopsis. Hold on.
No, I'm reading the synopsis on IMDb right now.
This one says, two seemingly dumb teens struggle to prepare a historical presentation with the help of a time machine.
That is not John Wick. That is Bill and Ted, you asshole.
Oh. I thought the poster looked different.
You're such an idiot. Moving on with the next level news. I thought this story was kind of cool. This is actually from a week or two ago. I just keep forgetting to throw it in the next level news. Stephen Colbert shocked South Carolina schools by funding every single teacher-requested grant.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, comedian Stephen Colbert announced that he would fund every existing grant request South Carolina public school teachers have made on the education crowdfunding website DonorsChoose.org.
Why South Carolina?
It's where he's from.
Okay, I was going to say that makes sense.
Yes. Colbert made the announcement on a live video feed at a surprise event at Alexander Elementary School in Greenville, South Carolina. Colbert partnered with ShareFair Nation and ScanSource to fund nearly 1,000 projects for more than 800 teachers at the 375 schools, totaling $800,000.
You know he was born in Washington, D.C.?
Was he really?
Yep. How American is that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I know it's been a big week with Letterman because he is leaving this week on Wednesday, but I can't wait to see what Stephen Colbert does when he takes over.
I think it'll be a smooth transition.
I think so too. I think it's going to be good.
He also has 10 siblings, by the way.
Yeah, I know. His sister is somebody who I think ran for a political office not too long ago because he was
Elizabeth Colbert Bush.
Yes. Yeah, because he was promoting her quite a bit on his show. I miss his show already, but I'm looking forward to him taking over the late show.
Yeah, I think he'll do a fine job.
Or late night,
whatever it's called.
Moving on, Downtown Disney to open Indiana Jones themed bar. This is really cool.
That's awesome. What's it going to be called? The Whip?
No. Downtown Disney has announced that a bar named after Indiana Jones' pilot will open in the fall, alongside new eatery additions Morimoto Asia and STK Steakhouse. Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar is under construction currently and will feature outdoor seating on Jock Steamboat facing Lake Buena Vista. The aviation-themed bar will be decorated with things like propeller ceiling fans, vintage travel posters, and letters written to and from Jock to Indiana Jones, as well as surprise interactive moments.
Sometimes you wonder why they haven't thought of this sooner.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie, the first one came out, how long ago? Like 30 years ago.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at some of these concept pictures. This looks like a really cool place.
Yeah, and Disney's, I think they're now finally really starting to do, they have so many good restaurants down there. But I think they either just opened or they're opening or they previewed some kind of Star Wars restaurant too or something. I thought I heard about they're gonna maybe do an Avengers restaurant too or something like that. That
would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, doing any type of theme restaurants on movies that are as big as Indiana Jones and Star Wars and all that stuff is just, it's gonna bring crowds.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the food could taste like shit and it's gonna bring crowds.
Well, it's funny you bring up the food because the Hangar Bar's menu will feature equally themed foods such as Air Pirates Everything Pretzels, Rolling Boulder Meatballs, and the Jovito Mojito.
Works for me. I'm there.
Dude, I need to get that. I hear nothing but a lot of complaints now that Disney is just way overcrowded, and but I want to go back. It's been well over 10 years since I've been to Disney.
Yeah, go in the winter.
Yeah, I got to go in the off season.
Yeah,
just because. I don't have a family of my own, but I would go. It's Disney. I would go by myself.
Yeah, people might stare, but
yeah, who cares?
You can come with us next time we go, whenever that is. We've gone a few times over the last couple of years. And
that's going to wrap it up for Next Level News, by the way.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. But anyway, last 2 years before this year, we went in February, and it still got crowded, obviously, but it wasn't that bad. But when we just went in April, at the end of April, it was so crowded. It was crazy. Magic Kingdom especially, that place is always so crowded. Here's the trick though. Ready? So go to Magic Kingdom, and if you don't care about seeing the fireworks, or if you are going a couple times, go see the fireworks one night and the parade. But if you don't care about seeing those, around around like 8 o'clock, most rides except for like 1 or 2, you don't have to like fast pass or anything. Like you can get right on because after like 8, the lines get so much shorter and you can pretty much ride everything you want to.
Because everybody's in the town square waiting for the
right.
fireworks.
Everyone's watching fireworks, parades, or they got little kids and they have to go to bed. Like, and a lot of times Magic Kingdom's open really late. When we were down there, the one night, I think it was a Thursday night, it was open till midnight.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can definitely go and get everything that you want to get done.
See, I'm a theme park junkie. Like, I love going to theme parks.
I want to go to Six Flags again.
So do I, and it's because it's been a while since I've been there, but I need to get back.
You ever go on King Ka?
No, I haven't been there since before King Ka.
Oh, it's so good.
The last new ride that was there the last time I was there was Nitro.
It's so good. It's so crowded. Nitro's really good too, though.
Nitro's really,
like a
really
classic.
Fun. The best day to go to an amusement park, especially Six Flags, because I still remember this one time, they were expecting rain.
Yep.
And it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Those were totally
weekdays.
It was totally overcast all day. It was in the middle of the week, so nobody went. And it was to the point like Scream Machine. Like we got on, we went right up, walked right up, didn't wait at all, hopped right on the coaster, and the moment it was over, all we did was get off and move to another car.
Yeah, I mean it's tough to plan out sometimes. That same thing happened to us. There was one day it was supposed to rain. We had already planned to go, so we went anyway, and I think it rained for like a half hour at like lunchtime, so we got lunch. And the rest of the day it was fine. And the lines were so much less crowded. For that was the one time I got to ride King Ka because that thing shuts down for like anything.
Yeah.
So it had shut down briefly because it like drizzled and, it opened back up right when we were in the area. So we waited maybe like 10 minutes and got right on. And let me tell you, dude, my arms were tingling after the ride. It was so cool.
I mean, yeah, like the bigger the coaster, the faster the coaster, the better for me.
Yeah, it's all speed on that one. I mean, like I didn't even realize how high. Like it is high, but you're not even thinking about how high it is because of how fast you're going.
Well, it's built into. Oh no, I'm sorry, that's another ride.
Yeah, there's like a drop thing now.
There's a drop ride that's built into the loop of King Ka.
Yeah.
Which I think like shoots you straight up.
It's called
and
like
just drops
Death
you.
Drop or something.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
Piss your pants or something.
Maybe we should plan something like over the summer and try and get out to Six Flags.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
it's
down.
tough with you with a kid.
I don't think Sam's quite tall enough yet to ride most
no,
of the rides.
Probably not. Yeah. Probably not. But
El Diablo, you ever go on that one?
No.
Or no, that's a new one. I'm sorry. El Toro, the wooden one.
No, again, I haven't been there since before King Ka.
I don't know how old that one is, but El Toro is so good. It's a wooden coaster, but it's so smooth, and the drop is like 75 degrees.
And I love wooden coasters.
Yeah.
Love wooden coasters. Rolling Thunder was the old one that was there before, and it was so rough, but it was so classic, and I loved it.
Did you see that new one that came out? And it's not at this Six Flags. I don't even know where it is, but it was a new Batman coaster. I really should have probably looked it up before I mentioned it. You don't know what I'm talking about, though?
No.
It is a Six Flags.
Is it the one that kind of like it?
It's a 4D
turns?
coaster.
It's what?
They call it a 4D coaster.
Is it the one that like what the seats turn?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have seen it.
Yeah, it's Six Flags Fiesta Texas. It's just a Batman coaster. I don't know if I think it's just called Batman the Ride. I'm not sure.
It could be.
Yeah, but look it up. It's kind of crazy. You're going basically over like humps and stuff, but the entire time your seat is basically going in a full circle.
Yeah, it's crazy. But
I'm pretty sure most people throw up on that ride.
It looks awesome though.
Yeah, it does.
So
I'll ride almost any ride, coaster
me too.
especially.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I need to get back at the Six Flags. There's so many amusement parks I need to get to.
Yeah, let's make it happen.
Sure, I'm down. So, but anyway, last weekend I went to Comic-Con here in Philly, and it was a really, really cool experience because I got to do a couple things I'd never done before, and we finally got a celebrity interview at Comic-Con, which was cool, and it was somebody who I have known for years. I know you have too, because I know you watched the show as well.
And something that we actually didn't book through Wizard World.
No, we did this. Well, you did this, and then I just kind of connected with this person. You got the email, and then I sent the email out and connected with this person. In which I now have his email and his cell phone number in my phone. So I'll never use it. But
are you like a stalker or something?
It's we're talking about Joel Hodgson from Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Hey, Joel, it's Ben. Just wanted to call and say hi.
Well, it's weird too because
I've been thinking about you a lot. I enjoyed our talk. It was really fun.
The interview was Sunday. Shut up. The interview was on Sunday of Comic-Con, and I went to his. It changed a couple times. It was originally supposed to be on the Comic-Con floor before the floor opened, so there wasn't a lot of noise. And then it got moved to actually going over to the hotel room, or to the hotel, and doing it downstairs in the lobby. So there was no noise at all. And then it had moved again to me possibly going up to his hotel room and doing the interview in his hotel room. I guess so that he didn't have to come downstairs. And then it got moved again to actually on the Comic-Con floor shortly after the floor opened. So,
hey, Joel, it's Ben. I just really wish we could have talked in your hotel room.
Yeah, stop it. You joke, but the funny thing is, I woke up Monday morning to a missed call from Joel.
Really?
Yes. I don't know what it was in regards to.
Did you call him back?
I sent him an email. And I haven't heard back from him yet.
Maybe he butt dialed you.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it might have been just an accidental dial. Because he didn't leave a voicemail or anything.
It would have been funny if there was a voicemail, like he butt dialed you and he's talking to us. Like, did I talk to this really weird guy? Ben something.
I did find out, however, that, and it makes me very, very curious just because I'm high-hoped, even though it's probably the furthest thing from the truth. I did find out that while he was at Comic-Con, he actually cast somebody to be in the reboot of Mystery Science Theater that's going to be happening.
Oh, that's cool.
And he cast them on Sunday. So I'm kind of, at least that's the rumor. I don't know if I fully believe that. I don't know if he would just cast somebody out of the blue at Comic-Con. But if that were the case, immediately when I heard that rumor, I thought to myself, I'm like, son of a bitch. Maybe that's why he was calling me.
I think he would have left a voicemail at that point.
I think so too. But that thought
not
did
to
cross...
drown your dreams, but
I drowned him myself. Don't worry. But I did immediately think to myself, I'm like, son of a bitch. Maybe that's why he was calling me. He was calling me to cast me for the new Mystery Science Theater reboot.
I mentioned this to you in a text the other day, but when you were at Comic-Con, Steve and I went golfing, and we on the Saturday we went to this bar and got some wings afterwards. And on one of the televisions, I don't know why, but on one of the televisions was How It's Made, which is that like science channel show, and it literally is how things are made. And Steve and I were talking about how it's one of the worst shows on television because it's so boring. And it was on mute, so we were basically just guessing the entire time on how to figure out what it was that they were making. Yeah, and I'm like, this would be something perfect for like someone who's actually funny to do. Like the guys from Mystery Science Theater or Riff Tracks or something, to like sit there and basically riff on how it's made and guess really obscure things. But it could also be a game show.
True.
Guess how it's made.
So yeah, that would be interesting. I know the guys from Riff Tracks, which isn't Joel. That's Mike Nelson, Kevin Murphy, and Bill Corbett. They do that to National Geographic shows from time to time, like nature documentaries and things like that.
NextLevelRadioOnline.com/interviews, by the way.
There we go. And also NextLevelRadioOnline.com/events if you want to check out all the Comic-Con coverage, which is posted. And I do have to say a huge shout out and thank you to our photographer, Molly Grinnan. She did an amazing job with the pictures. She took a ton of pictures. It took me a while, almost a week, to get through them all.
She took all the floor pictures, right?
She took all the floor pictures, yeah. I took the panel pictures, she took the floor pictures, and then she also took the picture of me and Joel that's posted under the interview section of events. Just like I said, nextlevelradio.com/events. Go to, just click on the link for the Comic-Con date, which was this current weekend, and then you'll see all the different subsections, like the cosplay pictures, the panels, things like that.
I think all the pictures, I looked through some of them, all of them turned out better than any of the ones I took last year. So.
Well, she also has a very professional camera.
Correct.
Too.
Yeah. Well, I used your pretty professional camera last year. I just didn't know how the hell to use it.
Yeah.
properly. But that is why, that's why she took our extra pass and I went golfing.
So, well, hopefully next year we'll be able to get us all in. And, cause I mean, there's so many panels that happen. It's impossible for one person to cover them all.
So how was it, by the way? Like how, compared to last year, your experience?
Compared to last year, the way the panel was, the way the convention was run, it was night and day. It was so much better this year. There was a ton more room because they opened up the entire convention floor. They opened up the wall.
That's a good idea.
And where all the photo ops were last year, they were on the complete opposite end, behind where that wall was closed last year. So now all the area that they used for photo ops last year was used for booths. So there was a ton more room to move. On Saturday, which is the busiest day, it was still very busy. There were still just as many people there, but it didn't seem like it because you can move around a lot easier. However, I did my walking around Thursday and Friday just to get a feel for everything, did my shopping on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday it was all business, panels and things like that. But again, there's so many panels, and a lot of them overlap that it's impossible for one person to do them all. Yeah. And especially with some of the bigger panels like David Tennant and Billy Piper, which was Saturday morning, I wanted to actually stay for the panel. I wanted to sit and see the panel. Same thing with Stephen Amell on Saturday, Haley Atwell, I wanted to stay and watch. So it's very difficult to get to all of them. So hopefully next year we'll be able to, there'll be more of us there. And
have a couple people, yeah. I mean, you said they, not to talk about the back scenes of everything, but they were a little surprised when they found out that we had gotten Joel.
It seemed like Jerry from Wizard World was a little taken aback, just because not because we went around them, but because I think there's so many people that ask for press to Wizard World conventions, and a lot of them are just people that run their own blogs and things like that, and they don't book celebrities; they just do their own Yeah, they just do their own conversations and things like that. And I
Jake
think
Robinson, bro.
I think he kind of lumped us into that category.
Yeah, not surprised. I mean, to be honest, last year was a learning experience. And even on our webpage, I mean, I think you can see the difference between last year's coverage and this year's coverage.
Oh, it's night and day.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much more coverage this year.
I mean, it's going to take some growing on our part too until we really go big and bold with it, but we any help from them that we get is great. And I think what we're gonna start doing, at least kind of to not get us used to it, but just kind of cover all the bases, since cons are becoming such a big thing. I know we didn't get to make it out to Atlantic City this week, but a lot of the other smaller local ones I think we're gonna be hitting up over the year. And
definitely.
Then Philly will kind of be our big yearly one.
Yeah, I agree with that completely, and it gives them a good idea, that hey, we're legit, we're coming at you big time, and look, we talk to these celebrities even when they're not at the cons, so it doesn't make much sense for you to not hook us up with these celebrities at the cons.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, I think he was a little taken back because I think he kind of threw us into that, that lump sum of all the people that just handle their own blogs and things like that, and I think not tooting our own horn, but I think we're a little bigger than that now, and I think Wizard World is starting to realize that as well. So hopefully next year, they'll throw a couple more passes at us, and they'll throw us a couple interviews through them as well, and we'll keep doing what we do, and we'll reach out, on our own to try and get them, but, we'll get them.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they gave us 2 last year.
It was our first year.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised at that as well.
I mean, what is this episode? Again, not to toot our own horn. This is the 19th episode.
Yes.
We've averaged 1 guest a week
for this year.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's far and away better than last year.
I mean, and if you look at this point, last year we weren't even weekly at this point. We were trying to be,
right, but
there were a number of weeks that we had missed, and we were maybe only 5 or 6 interviews in at this point.
Yeah.
If that. And now I don't think we've missed a week.
We have been able to turn down interviews, which is crazy.
I know. Surprisingly.
Yeah, so. But yeah, I mean, we'll have to, again, nextlevelradioonline.com/events, but we'll have to keep you updated as far as what other smaller cons in the area we'll be hitting.
Walker
interview.
Stalker Con in September is another one I'm going to try and get us into.
Where's that one at?
I think it is. I think it's in Oaks.
Okay, you've been there before. To Oaks, not to that specific con, but another guest we have coming up in the near future, which will actually be in studio. And before we head out today, we have a couple lined up already for the next few weeks, so we'll preview those. But Scott Hanna, who's an artist for DC and Marvel Comics, which is interesting. I don't know if that's a common occurrence or not, but he's going to be at a con in Phillipsburg, New Jersey at some point, so we'll have to find out from him when and where that is, but maybe Phillipsburg isn't terribly far from where I'm at in Allentown, so I might have to cover that one for us.
Yeah. So, I will say, however, getting back to Wizard World, that I got to do something I've always wanted to do, and that was to be on a panel, which I thought was so cool.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It was really, really cool. I got to be on 2 panels, actually, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. A big shout out to Tony B. Kim for inviting me to do that. You can find him on Twitter at Crazy4Comic-Con, the number 4.
Now, the second one was like a quiz thing?
Yeah, it was like a trivia game. It was a trivia / discussion.
Do you remember any of the questions? I'm curious.
One of the questions I know for sure I remember was during the filming of the Avengers, Age of Ultron.
I thought this was a Star Wars thing.
No, the Star Wars fan panel was Saturday.
Okay.
The Geek Wars was in general, all different.
So you throw wars
genres.
in there. I thought it was still Star Wars related.
Yeah. But one of the questions was, during the filming of Avengers Age of Ultron, one of the cast members was unable to do their own stunts for reasons, for particular reasons. Who was that cast member and what was the reason?
A main cast member?
Yes.
Damn it. Because I was going to say Colby Smulders.
And I knew who it was, too. I knew the answer, but it wasn't asked to my team.
Can't do their own stunts. And what was the reason? Okay.
Yeah.
I am going to say Chris Hemsworth.
You'd be incorrect.
Damn it.
The correct answer was Scarlett Johansson because she was pregnant.
See, and that's why I was going to say Colby Smulders. I thought maybe she was pregnant. I should have known, damn it. I didn't know Scarlett Johansson had a kid.
Yeah, she did.
Damn it.
So, but I actually videotaped both panels, and both panels are online. So, again, nextlevelradioonline.com/events. Just go to pick the day for Wizard World, and you'll see a con section. You'll see video and photos. The photos are of the celebrity panels, and the video are actually of my 2 panels.
I'll have to watch those videos. Did you represent us well, I hope?
I did,
okay.
And it's funny because funny story, and then I'll wrap up my Comic-Con experience. But when at the end of the Geek Wars panel, Tony, who was the panel host, ran down. There were 6 of us on the panel, and they ran down the line of everybody letting all of us give out like our web addresses and such, and where they can find us and things like that. And my buddy EJ, who was first, announced who he was from. He's from the Chaotic Neutral podcast, so a little shout out to him. My friend Sarah was next. She works for another radio station here in Philadelphia, and she gave out her Twitter account, so shout out to Sarah. I'm just going to do shout outs as I go along. Sarah Harley, and then it was me, so I announced, I'm with Next Level Radio. We do a weekly podcast. You can find us nextlevelradioonline.com, Twitter at NXT Level Radio. So my buddy Chris, who is with our friends over at Nerdbase, he does his, and he says who he's from, and he ends it with, and I'm waiting for an invitation to be on Ben's podcast.
I thought we have invited them.
We have. We've invited Chris before. It just hasn't been able to fit into his schedule.
Yeah, I was going to say. I know for sure you invited his girlfriend, fiance,
yes,
wife? I don't know.
Amanda,
yeah, because the one week I was out and you had somebody else on. The name is escaping me right now.
Derek.
No. This was more recent.
My friend Michelle.
Yeah. You guys talked about the Sony stuff.
Yes.
I know you had offered that to Amanda too, right? And she just was a little not shy, but
yeah. No, that's the perfect word.
Okay, she was shy about it.
Yeah.
So,
but then Kate Pringle went up next, and she said where she was from.
You should have asked them since Steve's not here. You should have seen if they want to come on tonight.
I don't think he was available this weekend.
See? Yeah, not our fault.
And then the sixth person, my buddy Craig Legons, who people would know from another radio show as well. He came on and he ended his with, and I too am waiting for an invite to be on Ben's podcast. And then EJ grabbed the mic, the guy that was first, and said, I would like to reiterate, I too would also like to add that I'm waiting for an invite to be on Ben's podcast. So these guys all have their own podcasts. Well, at least Chris and EJ do. And it was really cool that they kind of threw some love our way.
Yeah.
Over their own,
like to
which I told them
we
afterwards.
Haven't been invited onto their podcast either.
Well, they don't really. Chris hasn't podcasted in a while.
Okay.
So
Nerdbase posts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nerdbase still posts a lot of stuff. Nerd-base.com, by the way. They still post a lot of stuff weekly and on their site, but they haven't podcasted in a while. So, and EJ I had just met over the weekend, so we of course would have never been invited on their podcast as yet.
Makes sense.
So, but it was cool that they threw some love our way.
Yeah, we'll have to have them
on the panel.
Sometime.
Absolutely. So, but oh, and then I went to the Stephen Amell wine mixer.
Yeah, you never. How was that? Because I know at first you were disappointed, but it turned out okay.
Okay, I'll try and run through this pretty quick. And if anybody from Knocking Point ever listens or Stephen Amell ever listens, please, I mean this in the most respectful way, because my opinion did change by the end of the night.
It was awful.
Well, when we got there,
usually when you preface it with like, if you're listening, I'm not being disrespectful.
It was held at Union Transfer on Spring Garden Street in Philadelphia, and when we got there, the lines outside were huge.
Oh, really?
They had two separate lines, one for the first half of the alphabet, the other for the second half of the alphabet. And when you first walk in, you get a glass, and your glass includes 2 drink tickets.
Were you under B or P?
I was under B. No, I was under P. Sorry. You get a glass that you get to keep, and then you get 2 drink tickets inside. And I'm like, drink tickets. I paid $100 to get into this thing. I expect an open bar.
Yeah,
at the
seriously.
least, So, we were like, okay, whatever. So we walk inside, and long story short, Steven's standing in there pouring wine, and the line goes from a single independent line that snakes around to a big jumbled mess that we are now at the back of, because we were supposed to be about 20 people in, but everybody decided to just go immediately for Steven, and it turned into a big bottleneck that we're now at the back of. So we said, screw it, we'll see if we can catch him later. So we went and met up with Drew, and Drew is his partner in the wine. So we got a little wine poured by Drew. Drew was really cool, but we were still a little disappointed because there was way too many people.
Do you feel bad for Drew at all? Because mostly everybody's there to see Steven.
Yeah, but I think he expects it.
Yeah.
At this point,
I think he's kind of along for the ride, maybe.
I think so. I would love to get him on, dude, because
Yeah.
he has an awesome personality. He's really cool to talk to. So I might reach out and see if we can get Drew on. Because, again, he was really cool. The wine station, for the number of people that they had in there, was way too small. I mean, they had 2 people behind a table with like 20 bottles of wine, and there was easily 300-400 people in that room.
Was it a limited number of tickets, or was it?
It should have been.
Okay.
And it wasn't. That was one of my biggest issues with it. But about halfway through the night, the band started. The band was awesome. During the break with the band, Steven and Drew went up on stage and did a Q&A. My buddy Chris, who was with me on the panels, got to ask a question, so he was loving it. At this point, we're like half in the bag, because we're picking up drink tickets off the floor and stuff.
I was gonna say,
people
so
were dropping.
You were supposed to get 2 drinks, but you ended up being able to get a few more.
We got a few more because people were giving us drink tickets because they just wanted wine, and because the wine was free.
Oh, there's more than just wine.
Yeah, there was a bar. Your drink tickets were for the bar.
Oh.
So you could get beer
I could have gone
drinks
then.
and stuff like that.
One of the reasons I didn't go, not only was
you thought it was just wine,
Mother's Day, but yeah, I don't drink wine.
Oh. No, there was a bar in the back too.
Stephen Amell would probably hate me.
Well, here's the thing. So we still hadn't seen Steven yet. So they did the Q&A, and then the band went back on stage. So at the point that the band starts back up, we're like about 5 feet from the stage. It's me, Chris, his girlfriend Amanda, and our friend Allie are all with us. And we're about 5 feet from the stage. We're rocking out to the band. We're feeling good at this point. We're having a great time. And Chris taps me on the shoulder, and he says, turn around and look behind you. And I turn around, and literally standing right behind me is Stephen Amell.
Did you do anything?
And he's
Besides
jumping
pass
to the...
out?
he's rocking to the band, he's jumping. So we turned around and we actually were talking to him at one point. Like, he had like one arm around me, I had the other arm around Chris. We're like moving to the music, dude. It was so cool. It was such a surreal experience. And it only lasted for like 3 or 4 minutes.
And then Ben had to excuse himself to change his pants.
No, the band called Steven up on stage. Jackass. Sure. So we got our little time to shine with Steven.
That's
and
cool.
We had wine, and I met Steven's mother. I got a picture. I took a selfie with Steven's mother.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who is a 2-time cancer survivor.
I was going to say, she's a big part of a lot of what he does through his, what does it represent? The T-shirt thing?
The Represent is what raises money for the Fuck Cancer Foundation.
That's cool, though, that it was Mother's Day, so that makes sense. But
yes. So she was super sweet. She was so nice. I got a selfie with her. It was really cool. I met Drew's brother-in-law, who at the end of the night hooked us up with a couple extra glasses.
More drink tickets?
No more drink tickets. But he did hook me, Chris, Amanda, and Allie up with an extra glass. So we all went home with 2 glasses.
That's cool.
At the end of the night.
You going to give me one?
So, I can if you want one.
No, I'm just kidding. I still, by the way, never got my chocolate-covered pretzels from Christmas.
I didn't?
No.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah,
I thought I brought them.
Exactly.
They might be stale at this point.
No shit.
They've been in the fridge.
Son of a bitch.
They've been in the fridge, so. But they're probably stale at this
Surprised
point.
you haven't eaten them.
Yeah, well, that's big self-control right there.
Yeah, seriously.
So, but yeah, something that we thought was disappointing at the beginning of the night turned out to be a lot of fun by the end.
See, there you go.
I'm sure it had something to do with the amount of wine and drinks we were drinking.
And the amount of people that were there were probably part of the beginning crappiness.
Yes, yeah.
And the amount of drink tickets you picked up off the floor.
Because of these people were what helped the night.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but let's move things along. Let's take another break. When we come back, we are going to have our interview with Jake Robinson from American Odyssey, and then we'll get ready to wrap things up. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's Drew Powell from TV's Gotham, and you're listening to the Showcast on Next Level Radio.
Alright, welcome back to the Showcast and the interview portion of our show. This week we're excited to welcome an actor who made a bit of a name for himself as Bennett Wilcox in The Carrie Diaries. He currently plays Harrison Walters on the new NBC show American Odyssey. Jake Robinson joins us this week. How are you, Jake?
Excellent, guys. I'm so thrilled to be on the show. I appreciate it.
Good, man. It's good to have you. We're happy to talk to you this week. So I guess we'll want to get right into it. We're a little short on time, but so could you tell us a little bit about NBC's new action drama American Odyssey, and a little bit about your character Harrison as well, what the viewers can look for?
Yeah, absolutely. So American Odyssey is a thriller in the true sense of the word. It focuses on 3 main characters. My character, Harrison Walters, Peter Facinelli plays Peter Decker, and Anna Friel, who plays Odell Ballard. And Anna Friel's character is trapped overseas. She's uncovered this evidence. She's part of a female military engagement team, and she's uncovered evidence that this U.S. corporation is funding terrorist interests, particularly in Mali, and having to do with oil and all sorts of things. It's a really sticky situation. And so the company hires private mercenaries to come after her. Kind of think like Blackwater, but in this show they're called Ocella, and they wipe out her whole team, but she survives with this evidence. But back in the United States, they're playing her funeral. They're saying she's dead. They're saying everyone's passed away. And my character, Harrison Walters, is a young political activist who kind of uncovers this evidence that she's still alive, and kind of takes that as a way to champion like his new cause, a way to initially to promote himself, and then as things get more personal for him throughout the show, things get shadier. And then Peter Decker plays a lawyer, or Peter Facinelli plays Peter Decker as a lawyer for the company, the actual company that's doing all this dirty work. And he kind of sees what's happening and starts playing whistleblower. And it really is like a very personal story. Everyone's family gets involved. Things get very sticky very quickly. I think we're coming up on episode 7. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can go to Hulu.com and watch all the episodes for $3.99. And then also you can go to NBC.com and also watch all the episodes for free $99.
$3.99.
So that's my spiel. Yeah. But that's my spiel for the show. I've got it down to a pretty like quick because it's such a complicated show. There's so many different storylines and so much going on, and it's shot on such an international level that it's like, how do you synthesize something down into? There's so much to it. It's really a thought-provoking show, and I'm incredibly proud and excited about it. And I think everyone should watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, I mean, the show is definitely, it's unique and it's interesting. But when I was watching, it's actually a little bit scary to think about because essentially these American companies or what the American companies are doing, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but they're kind of funding these terrorist groups is essentially what it boils down to. So how did you...
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's a little bit scary
the
to think
bottom
about.
line is companies, I don't know, we're a fictional story, but, everyone knows that companies promote their own financial interests in many different ways, whether good and bad. And there's constantly companies are being reined in, or they're not approving mergers or approving mergers, or so it's a real situation, which I think is a little bit scary for people to watch, but also I think it's really important. And it's amazing to see the discussions that come out of people watching the show. Is this happening? What's going on? And then people get in arguments, and that's really fun as a part of the show to sit back and kind of see people hash out their disagreements via the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And finding that awesome balance that you guys have between fiction and nonfiction, so to speak. How did you find a way to prep for your role as the political activist of the show?
The political activism aspect, while it kind of is like the easiest way to synthesize who Harrison is in a nutshell to like make him relatable, the bottom line is it's really only part of like the first episode and a half of the show. Okay. So I think in reality, I mean, I read a lot of books. I read a lot of Noam Chomsky was a particular philosopher that I enjoyed reading, some Karl Marx, some anarchist books to kind of understand the ideology, because I came from a rather conservative background from when I was growing up. And so then to kind of like have this whole new perspective and to learn all this information and read these books. And there's also this really great book about drone warfare and kind of the killing of U.S. civilians overseas and that sort of thing. That was really just like a poignant and intense book that just made me think a lot and kind of got me in the mindset of who this guy is and but more importantly, what he really is. And this is the funny part. He's in his early 20s, and he doesn't really know what he wants. He's kind of lost. That's the beauty of this character, is that he's looking for what is going to define him. Like a lot of people in their early 20s are. It's like, what is that thing that we're passionate about? What excites us? And I think it's a constant journey. I mean, you can look at someone, you can take someone in their mid 40s, you can take someone in their early 20s. I mean, even later in life after you retire, and it's like, what is that next step? What is the thing that makes us passionate and defines us? And the lucky people figure it out. But I think a lot of us spend a majority of our life searching for that. And when Odell goes missing and he kind of finds this information, he really latches onto it as something this is his, his way to champion and to become something. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when you watch the show, you can tell the show has like a very like a serious tone to it, and almost to the point where it feels like it should be, not necessarily on NBC, but maybe on something like HBO or Showtime or something like that. And when you read the script, were you surprised when you read the script to find that it had that kind of a tone to it?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. The bottom line is I don't read a script and I don't look at like, I mean, I'm given the details about who the project's for, et cetera, who's attached, and all that factors in. But when I go to prepare for a script, it's not. I just read it face value. I sit down and unplug. I turn all my wireless devices off. I turn my phone off. I sit down and just read it and give it a fair shake. And it was one of those scripts that I could not put it down. I finished it. I was actually on the train. That's kind of like my reading space in New York City on the subway underground. And I came up and I missed my stop by like 5 stops. I was like all the way out to clean by the time I finished it. And I was like, oh, dude, what the hell? Like, where am I? I was like getting out. I have that unconscious thing where I'm like, oh, I must be at my stop. And I got out and looked around and I was like, oh, I'm like 45 minutes from my apartment now. This is just fucking great.
And one of the other things like I find really interesting about shows, I mean, it's another one of those shows that has multiple storylines that's running at a time, and all of them are they run all apart from another, at least until later on in the season when things tend to blend. I know like a show like 24 on Fox was another show that was like this. When you film a show like this, something I've always been curious about is, did the entire cast have a chance to meet before the production began, or were there people?
No.
That's what I was curious, if there were members of the cast.
No, we did
meet
not.
Later.
We didn't. Well, the interesting thing is Anna and Peter and I. Peter and I work in New York. Anna mainly works in Morocco for the majority of the shoot. So Peter and I got to know each other a little bit better. But even as you can see from the first couple episodes, we don't really have any interaction. So the days that he was working, I was off, and the days I was working, he was off generally, or we would split days. So when we came together, we were doing it was at Upfronts last year, and we had to do all these interviews for the show. But it was the first time that Anna, Peter, and I had all actually gotten together to talk about the show anyway, or to really, to discuss it. So we'd be interviewing and be like, okay, you handle this question. Now, how about you handle this question? Be like, oh, wow, that's what you think of the show. Okay. I think we're kind of similar, but I kind of have a different perspective. So it was interesting to, it was kind of a neat thing, actually, because you really got to enjoy each other's company when you did see each other. And Anna and Peter are just, honestly, two of the best co-stars you could ask for. They're so dedicated. I think that's one of the marks of this show that really makes it stand out, is that the dedication from all the actors in this project was just 100% the whole time. There was no one was complaining. No one was, what do I do? I'm not getting enough line. Everyone was just like, this story, this is important to tell. I'm dedicated to it. I'm in it. Every day people showed up and just produced fantastic work. So, it was such a pleasure to be on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess kind of to close things out here, we always like to delve into more than just the actor part of the people that we talk to. So I guess just out of interest, what kind of things do you enjoy in your downtime? And I guess could there be any way to incorporate it into your career moving forward here? Because you're definitely still a young actor going on the rise here.
Yeah, man. Right now, because it's springtime in New York City, I've been going to all the outdoor basketball courts and
nice.
I try to play about every day. Various levels of competition. I'm okay. I'm not the best, but I like to get out there and mix it up. And then I've also been producing and writing some of my own projects, a feature film, a pilot, a couple shorts. And so I just picked up a pretty dense book on producing today that I've been slogging through and trying to figure out, because that definitely interests me in the future. So, the amazing thing about, I'm so blessed, man. Like, in the position I'm in right now, the world is my oyster. Like, I can really go a lot of different ways. So, much like Harrison Walters on American Odyssey on NBC, 10 p.m. on Sunday nights, I also am searching for my purpose.
And it might not be in the pickup basketball courts.
That's right. And it might not be in basketball. My knees are swiftly telling me this week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Awesome. We'll be sure to go ahead.
And then I also have a beautiful girlfriend, and we go to dinner a lot. New York City's the food for, the city for food, and there's amazing restaurants. So that's always one of the great things. You got to take advantage of everything that city has to offer. It's a great place to be.
Yeah, being in New York, it doesn't suck to have a bunch of downtime if you have downtime.
It does not. It does not.
You ever make your way down here to Philly? Try out some of the food down here?
Dude, one of my best friends actually is going to vet tech school in Philly, and I do go down to Philadelphia. I haven't been in a little while, but dude, I love Philly. Philly's a great city.
Yeah.
I go to watch I try to go to 76ers games because your tickets are so much cheaper than the Knicks.
Yeah, and for very good reason, actually.
Even though the Knicks are just as bad this year.
Yeah, the Knicks are actually worse.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Philly's a great city, man.
Yeah, we like it too. Well, be sure to follow Jake on Twitter. That's at Jake Robinson Act, A-C-T at the end. And I believe the Renew American Odyssey hashtag is kind of on fire right now as well. So you can go ahead and check that out on Twitter.
Yeah, people are fired up. Get after it. We're excited about it.
Yeah, it's good to have
we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's good to have a good little following like that. And then, like Jake said, go ahead and check out American Odyssey, which, as he said, airs Sunday nights at 10 on NBC. Thanks again for joining us, Jake. This was short, but it was a good time.
Hey, my pleasure, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. So stick around, and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Nate Torrance from Fox's Weird Loners, and you are listening to the Showcast on Next Level Radio. Love it.
fucking Catalina wine mixer.
So special thanks to Jake Robinson for joining us a little bit. I know Steve is not part of the podcast tonight, but he was part of that interview. So we were kind of limited on time too. Like last minute, we were kind of cut short. We were told like a half hour initially, and turned into like 10 minutes. But still, super nice guy. So we're pushing for American Odyssey, obviously. To I know it's on the bubble right now, but we're kind of hoping.
Fingers are crossed.
Yeah, fingers are crossed that it's going to get picked up for another season. And be sure to follow Jake Robinson on Twitter at Jake Robinson Act.
Yeah,
ACT.
if it doesn't get picked up, he's a talented young actor. I'm sure he'll find.
He's still relatively new.
Yeah.
To acting too. So
and that I'm sure would have been brought up had time allowed.
Well, it did. We did bring it up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
We would have focused on it more though.
Right.
If we had a little more time. So, but yeah. So he was a super nice guy. So thanks again to Jake Robinson for joining us. So before we get out of here, you had a story that you wanted to relay to me, and you didn't tell me anything about this, so I don't know anything about this.
It's kind of a story / I want to get your opinion / the ethicalness of this.
Okay.
So, and I kind of mentioned to you sort of what it was about. So, with some birthday money, maybe 2 weeks ago, I went out and bought a new headset /
Wait, it was your birthday?
Microphone. What?
I said, wait, it was your birthday?
Yes. I got a new headset / microphone for my Xbox One, because the one I have is for 360 and it's kind of old. So I was kind of torn between a few different ones, and I ended up going with the Microsoft version because it was on sale for $40 on Amazon.
Okay.
And I went to Best Buy and they price match Amazon. So here's the scene. I went to Best Buy, bought it for $40 because they price matched, brought it home, didn't like it. I didn't like how the microphone was. I couldn't hear myself in my head, so I didn't know how loud I was talking.
I kind of think I know where you're going with this, but okay.
So I wanted to return it and get a different one. So I went with one of the Turtle Beach ones because that's the old one I had. And I wanted to see. So I looked up what kind of Turtle Beach ones I had. They had like a X01, which is like the lower one, the X04 Stealth, which is the one you have, right?
Yes.
Which is the next step up. And I told you I wasn't going to get that because it's a little bit more on the pricey side. So I didn't want to go and spend an extra like $30 or $40 on a headset. Because I had already spent that money. It was gone and I just kind of wanted to exchange. So I called Best Buy and I'm like, so what's your return policy if I don't have a receipt? Because I didn't want to get the $40 price from Amazon. I wanted to get the full retail that they charge. Mm-hmm. And they told me they could look it up by my credit card. I was like, all right, that's not going to fly. So I took it to Target. And I told Target, I said, I went to see if I could return it. I don't have a receipt. And they're like, okay, did you pay with card or cash? And I said, well, I got it as a gift. I kind of told a little fib. They're like, okay, do you have your driver's license? I gave him my driver's license. He gave me a Target gift card for $63. So I made
for the full retail.
Basically, so I made $23 off of this headset, and then I went to browse the ones they had, and I actually I'm trying to think, the X01, so the cheaper one was like 65 or 70, close to, and the Stealth one was like an extra $10. So I actually did decide to get that one. And then I had to go back up to guest services because Target also price matches with Amazon. So they price matched it from like 90 down to 80. So I double price matched Amazon. Amazon didn't get any of my business. Target's out $20 essentially. And I ended up only paying an extra $20 for this headset that in reality is like charges another like $40 over the one I did buy. So
in essence, you paid about $60 in total
for this headset, yeah.
For that headset that cost $90.
It's about 80 or 90 retail. I think Target had it on sale for $89. Retail is like $99, yeah.
Okay.
So I is that ethical? That I mean, honestly, in that whole process, I really only told one little lie, and that was that I got it as a gift.
I applaud you because I would have never thought to go and do that the second time.
It is really working the system.
But it works.
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal about what you did.
No. I mean, I didn't break any laws.
No.
My conscience isn't really guilty.
No, I mean, you adhered to store policies. Target took a return back without a receipt. That's, excuse me, that's part of their policy. You price matched with both stores, which they agreed that they do. So I don't think you did absolutely one thing wrong. And had I thought of it, I probably would have done the same exact thing.
That's the thing, though. Like, I could potentially go to Best Buy and just make money off of Target if I really wanted to, and shopped at Target a lot.
There are people that do that.
I'm sure there are, yeah.
So I would not feel bad about doing it for yourself.
No, I don't feel bad.
One time. So, I mean, as far as ethically, you did nothing wrong.
I take full advantage of the whole price match thing. I don't know if you do, but ever since they started price matching Amazon, because they didn't used to. None of the stores
I just do all
to.
my shopping on Amazon.
So do I normally, but sometimes even I don't feel like waiting the 2 days for my Prime shipping. So,
my biggest thing is I have a big issue with, and I've kind of stuck with this, and I'm kind of glad I did because I very rarely stick with things. I have a big issue with Best Buy and stores that are open on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, that makes sense. So technically, Amazon's open.
Yeah, but they're online. So I mean, it's not exactly the same thing.
How do you know people don't work?
Stores that
I see what you're saying.
That are open on Thanksgiving Day when people should be home with their families. I don't like going to those stores, and ever since Best Buy did that this year, I've kind of boycotted Best Buy and other stores like that. So I really don't go to Best Buy anymore unless I absolutely have to.
No, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean,
do primarily most of my.
You really can take full advantage of the whole price match thing now, because Target's one thing was that like they'll price match Amazon if it's sold and shipped by Amazon. So initially I thought it was going to be like $79, and the guy's like, "Oh no, see, it is shipped by Amazon, but it's sold by like some other company, but it's still qualified for the Prime 2-day shipping." So I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Well, the one that's sold and shipped to by Amazon is $80." I was like, "Oh, so it's like an extra 50 cents." Sure. Yeah. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, before when they didn't do that, you really couldn't do anything like this, but I think they kind of been forced into price matching Amazon because they're just getting killed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only way they're going to stay in business now.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it's just easier for me to go to the store and grab it real quick and just say, "Hey, can you price match this?" And they're just like, "Okay."
Well, I mean, it's so convenient too. Like as far as like my stuff with Amazon and things like that, it's just compared to shopping at Best Buy, like where I have to remember what DVDs are coming out on what day or what Blu-rays are coming out on what day. Then I have to make the drive to the store and things like that. With Amazon, like I literally have pre-ordered. I have DVDs pre-ordered like 3 months in advance right now because I'm not charged for them until they're released.
Right. And you get them shipped right away.
And I get them shipped and they arrive at my house by the time I'm home from work. So, I mean, I never have to go and get them. And once I pre-order them, I don't even have to remember that I pre-ordered it. It's like a little surprise when I get home. You know, so I mean,
that's
like
cool.
I have Kingsman already pre-ordered, American Sniper was pre-ordered. I have Furious 7 already pre-ordered on Amazon.
Wow.
You know, it's just I looked ahead at my resource that I use for the DVD Blu-ray releases, and DVDs and Blu-rays that I know I want, I go on Amazon, I add them to my pre-order list, and then I never worry about them again until they come to my door.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why they've been forced to price match.
Yeah.
Because that's an option for people.
Yeah. It's a great option.
Yeah.
It's so convenient.
And if you do shop in stores and you're getting, especially electronics, I wouldn't say the same thing for soap or body wash or whatever. But
Yeah.
if you're going in and getting electronics and you're paying the Walmart or Best Buy, especially Best Buy because they're always overpriced a little bit. If you're paying their prices and not asking to price match, you're doing it wrong.
I agree. I kind of miss, because I kind of switched a little bit more to Circuit City when Circuit City was still around.
Did they price match?
Because their prices were cheaper than Best Buy.
Yeah, I know.
And at least for Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff like that. So I actually started going. I was faithful to Best Buy, and then I actually ended up switching to Circuit City. Then Circuit City went out of business, and that now I was back to Best Buy again. But now I'm pretty much like all Amazon.
Yeah.
And most of 99% of my shopping is done at Amazon. It's done through Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, why not? Big plug to Amazon. You're welcome. Although the funny thing is, through all this, they didn't get a dime of my money in regards to the headset.
No, they didn't.
They were my pawn.
So they might like the fact that I shop there, but they're kind of disappointed at the fact that you did.
Yeah, I was a little bit proud of myself for coming up with that convoluted scheme.
Dude, I would be too. I would be too.
I mean, especially because, like, honestly, like, I got the first headset, and I was going to keep it, right? This was not my plan. My intention was not to swindle Target out of $20. It was to get a headset that I liked, and I got it, and I liked everything except for the mic, because it only came out, like, midway to my cheek, so I'm like, are people even hearing me well? Do I have to yell? And it doesn't have, like, the audio playback, so I can't hear myself, so I didn't know how loud I was talking.
Does the Turtle Beach one have it? Because I know you and I talked about that off the air, and I can't remember.
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, because my other...
I said I couldn't remember.
Yeah, my other Turtle Beach one did. And then I looked into this one a little bit, and it also did. So that's...
I like the fact, too, with the Turtle Beach XO4 Stealth, you can actually take the mic out.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing with anybody online, you're just playing by yourself, and you don't feel like talking to anybody, you don't have to worry about the mic being in front of you. You can just simply unplug it, and it becomes just a regular set of headphones.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is great.
I actually gave it a quick test run when I got home. Kind of have to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, all right, cool. My conscience is clear.
Yeah, you should be. I don't see anything wrong with that.
Perfect.
All right, let's wrap things up, and let's move on to Adam's Weekly Update.
And now, the Showcast Weekly Update.
This week's Weekly Update brought to you by Amazon. Because they didn't get any of my money, I figure I should at least mention them.
Good enough.
In the news this week, Nebraska has purchased a drug used for execution as a bill to repeal the death penalty makes its way through state legislature, which is more ironic than anything Alanis Morissette has ever mentioned.
There's nothing ironic in that song.
It's all bad luck.
It's all stupid luck.
A visual arts professor at the University of California, San Diego is under fire after insisting his students take their end-of-the-year exam nude, giving a whole new meaning to open book test.
Jeez.
I'm not even sure that joke makes sense, but...
I don't know, but to the legit story, depending on who's in your class, that could be convenient.
Or very disturbing. He also, by the way, I didn't mention this, but he also was nude.
Oh.
Yeah.
So did they actually do it? Did they actually do nude?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was...
Yeah, I got the story off theguardian.com, so if you want to look it up, anybody listening.
Yeah, look into that. Are there pictures?
No.
Good.
No pictures, no proof.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Matthew McConaughey's new film received heckles and boos during a screening at the Cannes Film Festival earlier this week. McConaughey said, quote, "I told the director this might happen. They didn't even let me take my shirt off."
All right.
I heard about that, too. That sucks.
Mm-hmm. Not surprising. But yes, it does suck. I think it was about like a suicidal person or something, so I don't know if it was like poor taste, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. I got that story off BBC News, so there you go. Next up, a Connecticut man was arrested after stealing over $17,000 by creating fake merchandise returns from a local Sears. The man was caught after police realized no one shops at Sears.
You bring up a very good point.
Yeah, that was more unethical than what I did, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't create any fake merchandise return. Mine was all legit. Finally, a blind pole vaulter finished third at a high school championships in Texas this week. Despite this, having a choice, I would still rather be deaf. Ben.
Really?
And
going back to that, what if?
Yeah, I was going to say, for anyone who's not familiar with our previous podcast, Ben did a would you rather be deaf or blind? And Steve and I both said deaf.
And I said
Ben
blind.
said blind.
Yep.
So you could still win pole vaulting.
Yeah.
But that is it for the
I
weekly update.
I know on a similar story, you mentioned that guy from Sears that created a bunch of fake return slips and stuff like that. Did you hear about this woman in New Jersey that sold tickets to a fake concert?
No.
She promoted that Sheryl Crow was doing a concert in Jersey and sold tickets to a couple hundred people.
Really?
As if she was the promoter of this concert, and there was no concert planned at all. So she swindled like a couple $100 out of like $40-$50 a piece.
But she got I assume she got arrested.
She got arrested.
Okay. Had to pay all that back.
So, all right, cool. So with that being said, let's get out of here. So we got some stuff we got to take care of.
Yeah. You want me a quick run down the guests we have coming up?
Sure.
So next week's podcast we'll have Bern Gorman from many things. But he'll be on to promote AMC's
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, he'll be on to promote Turn
Batman
on
Dark
AMC. The week after that, most likely, will be Scott Hanna. That'll be an in studio. That's Marvel and DC artist. And the week after that, June 7th podcast, will be one of the ones I may be most excited for. And I would say, what would you, maybe like top?
He's probably in our top three.
Biggest that we've had.
Yeah, I would go with that.
TJ Miller from How to Train a Dragon.
Oh, God, How to Train a Dragon.
Silicon Valley. Big Hero 6.
Silicon Valley, I think, is the one thing he's probably known for at the moment.
Yeah. Amongst the HBO watchers.
Yeah. Silicon. Yeah, like you said, Big Hero 6, the How to Train Your Dragon series.
He was in a little bit of the newest Terminator.
He was in the last Transformers.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant by Terminator. Same thing, right?
Yeah, close enough. They both start with a T.
He was in. What else was he in? I don't remember, but
what the hell's the one? He was in that one movie, I think, with Nate Torrance.
She's Torrance. Out of my league.
She's out of my league. That's
she's
it. She's
all that. What you always call it.
Yeah, as I always.
Yeah, that's right. He was Stainer, and She's Out of My League, which is such an underrated movie. And the reason he's coming on is because, excuse me, his tour's coming up, and he's actually going to be in town later this month. He was in Cloverfield. Yeah, I was just going to say that he was in Cloverfield too, which is kind of funny. He's been in a ton of stuff, and I'm sure he will be in a ton more to come because I think his roles just keep getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm really excited to have him on. I can't wait.
I am too. I'm really excited.
And I'm hoping to be able to check him out when he's in town.
That's the plan.
Yeah, so that'll be our June 7th podcast. So yeah, we already have guests booked, as far as 3 weeks out.
And I'm sure we'll get more in between that time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
just keep checking our pages. Ben will tell you what they are.
I was just about to do it. Check out our website, www.nextlevelradioonline.com. All our Comic-Con coverage is nextlevelradioonline.com/events. Follow us on Twitter at NXT Level Radio. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Just go to the iTunes store and look up Next Level Radio. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/nextlevelradioonline. And I think that about does it.
You can follow us individually on Twitter.
It's true.
I feel like we never mentioned it.
And I'm at NXT Level Ben.
Do you want me to say what mine is?
That would probably help.
I didn't know if you knew what it was.
I do, but I figured I could let you do it.
Mine's at Adam Next Level.
Yeah.
So, Steve is at S Richards 31.
I think that's right.
If not, some random guy's going to be getting a lot of followers.
So that's going to wrap it up for this week's Showcast. Again, next week we're going to have Bern Gorman from a bunch of stuff. You'll know who he is.
Yeah. Just Google him.
Look him up. Yep. Google Bern Gorman and look him up.
Go, oh, that guy.
Again, huge shout out for helping me out with the panels and everything to Tony B. Kim at Crazy4, the number 4 Comic-Con on Twitter, for helping me accomplish something I've always wanted to do, and that was be on a panel. So, but other than that,
thanks to our photographer.
especially, Yeah, well, a huge thanks again to Molly Grinnan, our photographer for Comic-Con. And I also want to give a huge thanks to our sponsor for Comic-Con, FN Comics in Drexel Hill, PA, Delaware County. You can check them out at fncomics.com. That's EFFIN comics.com.
And then also thanks to Jake Robinson.
Yes.
Again.
Wow, we're forgetting.
We have so many people to thank now.
Well, we thanked Jake after the interview, but it helps to thank him.
I like to thank people at the end of the show, too.
And you can follow him on Twitter as well, at Jake Robinson.
And watch American Odyssey. It's on the bubble. It needs your help to get renewed.
Yes. And on that note as well, hashtag save Constantine.
Is that still going?
Yeah, well, did you? I don't know if I mentioned it, because I know Stephen Amell mentioned it during his panel. He's pushing very hard for.
You mentioned it when we talked to Lucky.
Yeah, for Constantine to come over to Arrow until they find a new home for
That'd
Constantine,
be cool.
Which would be awesome. Yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen it yet, which I don't think you have, the finale for Arrow was really
I haven't seen it.
And Stephen Amell mentioned it during the Q&A at the wine mixer. Yeah. It's set up that it could be a series finale.
What?
It's not.
Right.
They've already,
it's already been renewed.
They've already said there's going to be a season 4. So,
interesting.
But the way the finale ends, it could be a series finale. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. All right.
The Flash finale is this
gotta
week.
get caught up.
Yep. So, all right, we're out of here. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.
Later.
All right.